Every Sunday, before many of us have had our first cup of coffee, local veterans are already gathering at CrossFit Inspire in Malvern, Pennsylvania, not far outside Philadelphia. The reason? A grueling 25-minute CrossFit workout free of charge for vets and their families. Retired Marine Marty Kenny started the group The Weekly Fight in late 2015 after a Marine he'd served with overseas committed suicide.
It really hit me hard because I knew the Marine, I knew the Marine's family, I knew the Marine's kids. And once I got past all the would have, could have, and should haves, all I could think of is this is the kids' Christmas from now on. This is what they're going to think about every time this time of year comes by. And I got to do something.
The Weekly Fight is part of a growing trend of groups for vets and created by vets that aim to fill in the gaps where support is lacking from institutions like the Veterans Administration or even well-meaning civilians. And it focuses on what many others try to tackle too: combat PTSD and suicide. Kenny says the workout recreates the sense of community and purpose many vets crave after they leave the military.
When I bring these guys together and we get them here and they get to sweat a little bit, they get a little pain, there's a little suffering, and there's a lot of jabbing back and forth about, putting out max effort and everything else, it brings some of that community and that sense back to what they're missing. And I think that's the beauty of what we do.
The group also dedicates each workout to a veteran with combat PTSD who committed suicide. Beforehand, Kenny contacts the family for more information on the service member and sees if the Weekly Fight can support them in any way. It creates a mission out of what would otherwise be another day at the gym.
1% of the United States population served in this service. 1%. So when you come back, this is who we got to relate to, because we don't have a mission anymore. We get back, retire, whatever the case may be, we don't have a mission. Let's take care of each other. Hoorah?
Former Marine James O'Flaherty came to the Weekly Fight at the suggestion of one of his friends.
He asked me to come, on a Sunday at 9 a.m., so I showed up. And I met everybody, and the group was a lot smaller than it was, maybe 5 or 6 people. And I met these guys, and a few of them are Marines as well. And it was like, bam, you're back home.
After several combat deployments to Afghanistan, O'Flaherty was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps in 2015. He says he's still affected by combat PTSD, but he's able to keep it under control, thanks in part to the Weekly Fight.
There are some little things that I'm working through, but the reason I say little is because I'm not going to let them be big, because what we've got going on is bigger.
Is this part of how you manage it?
Yeah. Without a doubt. No question about it. No question about it.
Former Marine Mark Abbott attends the Weekly Fight with his wife, Haley. He says sweating through a CrossFit workout feels similar to enduring some of his more difficult days facing combat PTSD.
Having come from a time in my life that, I was having some really dark thoughts and I was really low, and just grinding through that. A lot of that reminds me of like these 25-minute workouts. Like, as silly as that sounds, it's only 25 minutes, but it's a really long time when your heart rate's at 167 or 170 beats a minute and you're sucking wind. 20 minutes is forever. That grind, I want to get comfortable there. I want to push myself to the point where I'm dying inside and just look up and smile. Because I can, say whatever it is, whatever that deep down, dark, nasty, scary thought is, just look at it and go, nothing. Dude, I've done worse. I've seen worse. I've been through worse. I've had worse days.
It's no secret that many returning service members feel like the VA is falling short. According to its most recent reporting, 20 United States veterans are committing suicide each day. Wyndon Rowe is a therapist who specializes in trauma. She says the VA often relies too heavily on medication when many vets simply want that feeling of usefulness they had in the military.
The question always is, well, how do we support veterans? How do we do this? How do we help them? Is it we give them money? Well, not necessarily. You give them purpose and task, something to do. and something that has meaning.
Rose says vets who struggle once they're back home often isolate themselves. Others, though, start thriving again once they've found a community of fellow service members or a mission to dedicate themselves to.
But it doesn't happen with, here's your pill, take it, everything's going to be okay. It's not working. So it's really more about putting lots of tools in the toolbox and finding what you gravitate toward. That really does help you.
Marty Kenny of The Weekly Fight says, in the meantime, it's important for vets who come home to get what they valued so much about the armed forces.
Get them in touch with another vet. A civilian is not going to know what to do. They're not going to know how to talk our language. Although you care, that's great. I'm glad you care and you want to help. You know, money's not the problem. Medication's not the problem. It's community, mission, and getting these guys feeling important again.